that when a person living in the temporary material body tries to construct a happy home, the result is fruitless and miserable. Who would believe that? That's not what we were taught at school, university. That's not what the billboards are saying. That's not. What is this? It's revolutionary statements. The result is fruitless and miserable. Because the result of the material body is back to the ashes. When the result is, it goes back to the elements. The elements, material energy is eternal, but it keeps transforming. So when we are eternal, and we accept in this transforming body as eternal also, permanent also, because we're looking for permanent happiness. But the body temporary changes, then the elements go back. The earth goes back to the earth, and the fire goes back to the fire, the air goes back to the air, and the water goes back to the water, which leaves us without a gross body. And then we're forced into another particular combination of these elements in another endeavor, another try for to have a happy life, but all destined to failure. Everything ends in death. So it's just a march towards time, towards the edge of the cliff. And when your time is up, pop, you fall over. And then you take birth again, and every birth, every living entity, no matter what form you take, at least the moving living entities, they're all doing the same thing. They're all trying to improve their situation, hoping against hope that they'll find their niche and be happy. Maya. Krishna says, temporary, full of misery. So materialists don't like to hear these things. When you tell them these things, they don't like it. You burst their bubble, and pop their dream. They don't like it. So Prahlad Maharaj also in the canto says that same thing. Another revolutionary statement. The problems in life begin the moment you endeavor for happiness. That's revolutionary. It doesn't make sense, right? But if you look at it, if you see what is from his angle of vision, it makes perfect sense, because to achieve to fulfill your desires, we have this kunta. Not Vaikuntha, kunta, this force in this material world, consistent of time and space. And that time and space is filled with birth, death, old age, disease, and all the other adhyatmic, adidevic, adibhautic, different clashes are there. So to achieve your objective, you have to pass through this space, or this time, a period of time. Time and space are synonymous. You have to pass through this period, which are full of these things we don't really want, to achieve your objective. So first thing is you take on trouble. As soon as you make a plan for your happiness, you have to endeavor with trouble. And in the third canto, Kapila Muni also confirms to his wife, I think it's Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada said that in every material endeavor for happiness, there's a side effect, there's a concomitant miserable part. It's just like we take milk, and milk is very nourishing, good, healthy, and it's nice. But to take milk, you have to keep a cow, and that's very troublesome. Nobody likes the trouble, but that's how it is. Everything has its opposite side. Nothing's free in the material world. There's duties. Everyone is subject to duties. At least those who are interested in material life, in progressing in material life. The whole thing is duty. It means the grihastas have a lot of duties, because they have to be responsible for the whole society. The brahmacharis, vanaprastha and sannyas, they don't have many duties, hardly any, because they don't have a house. The household is the cause of all the problems. Because you've got to maintain the house, you've got to endeavor to build a house, you've got to maintain it, and you've got to feed all the other ashrams. They don't work. You have to feed them. You have to feed the animals. You even have to feed the insects in your house. Make sure that your tick-tickies, they don't. Everything in the house is your responsibility of the grihastas. So many rules. So but people don't like the rules because they're troublesome. But they're there. If you want, there's a facility, but look at the price you have to pay for it. Once while traveling, a baby was crying and crying and crying. Prabhupada said, this is a sannyasi's opulence. He doesn't have to listen to this. It's quite disturbing. But of course, for the materialist, or the grihastha also, it's like nectar, right? That crying, they like that. According to the mode of passion, you won't be happy unless you do that kind of thing. Unless you do that, you're convinced like that. But if you're in the mode of passion, then you're going to believe that you're the doer, and the result depends on you, and you're going to work hard to achieve that. And that'll bring you. That's your happiness. There's actual happiness for them. In one sense, they couldn't not do it. It's difficult for them not to do it. You have to follow your nature, you see. So here, Prabhupada uses this example about the snake. He said here a morning walk. We walk in this nice park, beautiful park. It's in America. He said, no one here. Not like Juhu. We go for a walk on the promenade now. Hundreds of people walking, doing this, that, yogas and exercise. But he said here no one is enjoying this. They built a wonderful park, nice trees and flowers, but no one is coming. But we are here. We're enjoying. So it's like the mouse. He builds a hole in the ground, a nest. Much endeavor, and then the snake just comes in. He goes inside. He eats the mouse. Nice fat belly. He lays comfortably in his house. He's satisfied. No endeavor. He doesn't have that proclivity nor the propensity to actually make a house himself, but he just takes advantage. So Prabhu said like that. We can use, as mentioned in the purport, you can use all these material assets and gadgets. If we can use them in the Krishna service, then we'll use them. We'll accept them. It talks about palatial mansions, and if anyone wants to give a palatial mansion, we'll take it. We won't want to accept it. You want to give the nice anything. We'll accept it and use it in Krishna service. And that is proper utility of the material energy. So, therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, I can't remember the exact words he used, but it's something like the devotees should have. He didn't use the word opulence or extravagance. He said that's theirs. They can have that. He said whether they want to live like that or not, that's another thing. He said, but it should be offered to them. Because they're the best people in the world. They should have the best because they're the only reality in this material world is by the association of devotees. Otherwise, you won't know what the reality is. So they're doing the greatest work. They're the greatest people in the universe, the devotees, because they're waking us up from our dream and introducing us to real life, our eternal relationship with Krishna. So they should be offered the best of everything. He says, use a word like, lavish, opulent, whatever. Whether you take it or not, that's another thing. But whatever facility is there, then we utilize that in Krishna service. But obviously, we would like a facility. If someone offers to build a high-rise building here for all the devotees and brahmacharis, we wouldn't say no. Right? But not that we're going to work hard to do it. Let someone who has that good nature, kind-hearted, and has a passion to do those kind of things and the resources to do let them do it to serve the devotees. So it's not. And he says here that it's not that one should use it for your own. If you're using it for your own, enjoying the opulence, enjoying the facility, then you'll fall down from the path of pure devotion. So the devotees, he says, being concerned with the ultimate perfection of life, do not personally struggle for material advancement, because we know that's temporary. We're concerned with the ultimate goal of life is to develop our love of Krishna. And love of Krishna can be developed in any circumstance. It doesn't depend on geographical location or situation or varna or ashram. It just depends on one's sincere desire to surrender to Krishna. So that can be done anywhere, as we've seen in the most trying conditions, like in the ex-communist Soviet Union, where the devotees were actually tortured, put in prison, but still they carried on their Krishna consciousness and became very staunch devotees. So that's something that there's no material imposition to surrender to Krishna. What's to stop us surrendering to Krishna right now? It doesn't matter on the circumstance that we're in. Sometimes unfavorable circumstances are more congenial to actually surrender, because we realize we have no alternatives. It's like Krishna personally, when I show favor to my devotees, I take away from them all their opulence. I pull the carpet from under their feet, as they say. And then the person becomes wretched, and all these relatives, all these material relatives reject him as worthless, useless. If you're not counted in their society and you're not getting money, then you're not considered very worthwhile. So then relatives suddenly has no recourse but to surrender unto Krishna. That's Krishna's special mercy. So he says, we don't personally struggle for material advancement, and we don't also artificially try to imitate those great renunciates. Here, some sections like this section, it is stressing renunciation. It is detachment from all that is material. That's the name of this chapter. That detachment is all, and it's explained in mainly the Ashtanga Yoga process, and which will end up in bhakti, to meditation on the super soul. But in the path of bhakti itself is direct. All these other paths are indirect. The path of Gyan, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Sankhya Yoga. When you achieve the result of following that practice, then you reject the practice. And but the path of bhakti is bhakti. So when we achieve the goal of bhakti, which is love of Krishna, then we carry on. We carry on doing the same thing. So it's a direct process. We don't have to change that. It's a direct process. It's just during that process, if one is sincere, then there's an awakening of your affection or your love or your dormant relationship with Krishna. That's the transformation that takes place. But in the other forms of yoga, when you achieve the goal, then you stop that. Then you give that path up, because it's a means rather than the ends. But bhakti is the means and the end in itself. So don't try to enjoy, don't try to renounce. Or, as Prabhupada mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, don't try to get out of the body, and don't try to enjoy the body. So just think, utilize your time in serving Krishna, devotional service. That is what the living entity is supposed to be doing. So this is very subtle. It's difficult to comprehend how the devotees are also karmis, right? We're working for results, but the result is for Krishna. So the karmis misunderstand us, and the jnanis we also jnanis. We study and follow the scripture. We want to know Brahman. We want to know Para-Brahman. So we're also jnanis. So it includes all of those paths, but it's misunderstood because all of those other paths, all of those other searches, practically it's also for sense gratification. Here it mentions in the and last purport, even the people are interested in exploiting their so-called yoga practice in order to rejuvenate their sexual potency, or to vainly remember their previous conditional lives, thus applying mysticism to the endless search for sense gratification. It's the same thing. In the name of spirituality or mysticism, or it's sense gratification. Because ultimately, at best, they generally want mukti. Mukti is the ultimate sense gratification, right? Freedom from pleasures. So, mukti siddhi, mukti bhukti siddhi kame shakli ashanti says, none of them are peaceful, because they all want something for themselves. So it's all sense gratification. For the bhakta, pure bhaktas, they want something also, and they're working for something, but it's for Krishna's benefit, not for their own benefit. So that's where it's misunderstood. Devotees are misunderstood. They seem to be doing everything like the jnanis or the yogis they criticize for eating opulent food sometimes, right? With ghee and but we did Mahaprasadam, where we should be renounced, and we're engaged in singing and dancing, which is a little frivolous, maybe. You should be grave, right? So it's misunderstood, but we're doing for Krishna. You can do that. You're offering to Krishna and accepting the mercy of Krishna as his prasad. But otherwise, everything is for sense gratification, in the name of religious or spirituality or anything, humanitarianism or nationalism, whatever. It's all sense gratification. Everyone's hoping by following their particular path, their particular ism, they'll be more comfortable in life. That's all. That's the goal. They'll be more comfortable in life, isn't it? What else is it? Eradicate poverty, eradicate illiteracy, and increase the affluence, then everyone will be happy. We'll have money, we can buy many things, surround ourselves with many things, then we'll be happy. That's it. That's the goal. Nothing else. So whether they do it on a gross platform or as an agnostic, atheist or a theist, they're all doing the same thing. Right? If you're going to God, they're asking for the same thing. You go and pray to God, please take away my problems. Please give me this. Right? These are the main two prayers. It's okay. I mean, they're pious, they're going to God. Krishna recommends it. You go, whatever you want, akama, savakama, moksha kama, whatever you want, you go, you worship Vishnu. That's recommended because that's transcendental, that's spiritual. You're approaching the deity. You're in front with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. So much benefit you're getting, so much purification. Although you're going for a material bargain, look, I'll put on Kanti and Tilak, but this is what I want. This is what I'm expecting from Krishna, from you. But what else can you do? Krishna says there's 4 kinds of pious people here in the Bhagavad Gita. He mentions them all. 4 kinds of impious, 4 kinds of pious. But out of them, there's no devotees there. Those 4 kinds. The wise man is the best. But he's going out of a sense of duty. He knows the Supreme Lord, I am His eternal servant, I should serve Him. But that's Shantaras. Shanta. Krishna's not much interested. Oh no, Gopinath, not much interested in that ras. Because there's not much ras there, is there? The yogas perceive the super soul. They see the Lord face to face. Narayan, that's it, perfection. But the reciprocation is they're glancing at Him in great happiness and love, and He's glancing back and reciprocating that love. But that's all it is. There's nothing else. So it's not much fun for Krishna. You wouldn't like it very much. I mean, first day, first few hours it may be nice if someone adored you like that, but looking at you with great love, but they don't do anything, don't do any service, or then it may be nice at first for the ego, but after a while, what is he doing? So they want some reciprocation, then there's more rasa. Right? That rasa is what everyone's looking for, the life, the taste of life, that's what everyone is looking for, experience. But that Shanta is very limited for the yogas. But that's it, they think seeing God is the ultimate thing, so they stop there. Then the Gyan is, they stop at the Brahman, they don't even get to the personality. They stop at the light. And that's it, there's nothing to do there. Nowhere to go, nothing to see, nothing to do. That's it, they're finished. That's because their philosophy doesn't say anything else, that's it. So that's not satisfying either. It's horrible, actually. Horrible. I had my eyes tested in the hospital, Bhaktivedanta hospital, and they put this white light in the eyes. It's really white, it's really bright. And they say, look at the light. I can't. When you have a cataract operation, and they put it on, they put the thing on the actual lens of the eye, and you can't blink, and it's blinding light. It's horrible. I think, what a Brahma Jyoti like. It must be hellish. Can't you turn it off? Nothing to do, just it's blinding. So everyone is self-interested. Only the devotee is not self-interested, and that's the pure unalloyed devotees. Until we've actually elevated ourselves, our consciousness, to the platform of nishtha, past nishtha, we have the same situation. We're in the same boat. Our main interest is our happiness. Right? What's more important, your happiness or Krishna's happiness? Who will say? What's more important? So it's like that, you see. We're going to Krishna, but we have some self-interest, our own motivation. But by understanding Krishna, by hearing Krishna, by Krishna's grace and revelation, then begin to appreciate Krishna for what He is. He is the most wonderful person. He is the most fantastic person. Most best friend, the most perfect friend you can have, and so then you lose interest in the lower taste of. Well, at that stage anyway, you've lost the lower taste. When the perception of Krishna, even if it's not, even if it's not so advanced, the perception. But even the first stage of perceiving Krishna in His name, just the feeling, even before the form, you actually perceive the form, that's enough to, that's a higher taste that you can give up the lower taste, because it's better than anything else we've had in the material world. It's better than any sense gratification we had before. So only when you achieve that, Krishna says, when you achieve the higher taste, you can give up the lower taste, only by achieving the higher taste. You have to have taste, you see. So we can't let that taste in the material world we has, we can't just ignore it. We can't just let it go, because then we're in a vacuum. And we can't stop the desire for taste, because we are by nature rasa. We are by nature Satchitananda, so we can't deny that desire. We can't deny that there's a hankering, there's a vacuum there for that experience of Satchitananda. So when that is met, then you're peaceful. You've got what you want. Then you can start to serve Krishna without any ulterior motivation. Then pure unalloyed devotional service starts. This is very advanced. So that's what one actually needs. Is because you can't get. Prabhupada says, there's no question of giving up anything. You can't give up anything. How can you? Everyone wants to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. There's no question of renunciation of sorry.
Hare Krishna. So we heard this very wonderful lecture by His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu. And now to introduce His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu, we have with us His Grace Radhapad Prabhu. So Radhapad Prabhu comes from a family of doctors, and he passed out from NIT Bhopal in 2008. And he was one of the first devotees who joined ISKCON Ujjain from the NIT Bhopal batch. And he served in ISKCON Ujjain as general manager. And Prabhu is currently the temple president of ISKCON Panihati. And apart from being a temple president, he preaches all over the world in various parts. And Prabhuji is a multilingual person. We can hear lectures from him in many multiple languages. When he speaks Bengali, you can't differentiate that he is a Bengali devotee or a Hindi speaking devotee or a Marathi devotee. So he is a multilingual preacher. And today, fortunately, he has given us time to share glorification of His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu. So over to you, Radhapat Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj Dhanat Pranam. My pranams to all the devotees here. I got this call from Krishna Kirtan Prabhu yesterday. He said that we have this session regularly and I should be glorifying His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu. So I have a basic PPT shared by Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. So I will show that. Of course, it is just for some basic guidance. He said I should speak from my heart. So I will just speak from whatever little time I had that I could spend with him, because I did get some access to him staying here next to Mayapur. Oftentimes we would go and meet His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu as well as His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. Essentially, that has been the instruction of Bhakti Prema Maharaj. He said that your devotion will depend on how surrendered you are unto Srila Prabhupada disciples, especially Pankajanghri Prabhu, Jananivas Prabhu, Srila Japataka Maharaj, because you have some access to them. They are quite near in Mayapur, so you should always go there, spend some time with them. So I did get some time sometimes to spend with them, and you can see the introduction here. So he is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, as we know, and he joined along with his brother Jananivas Prabhu. Both of them are from London, and they are known throughout the world for serving the deities of Srila Mayapur, Shri Radha Madhav, and Shri Narsimha. And especially Pankajanghri Prabhu, when there were some problems in Mayapur, so many dacoits would attack, and it was the communist regime. So during those days, not everyone was very favorable to them, and people would come from outside and they would do all sort of activities. Devotees' lives were in threat. There was constant threat of being, I mean, so many people would just come and devotees were not safe. So during that time, the management decided that let us bring Narsingadev, because they consulted with the local Gaudiya Mutt in Mahaprabhu's place, and Gaudiya Mutt had a similar history. And from the day they installed Narsingadev, Lakshmi Narsimhadev, and all these problems were sorted out because Narsimhadev is Bhakti Vigna Vinashan. So our ISKCON management also thought that we should act on similar lines, and then they decided to have Narsimhadev. And when Narsimhadev was brought at that time, Narsimhadev, even before he was installed, from the day he was there, he was ready in South India. And the person who sculpted the deity, he actually did some little puja, and Narsimhadev started to show his colors from there itself. He burned the whole thatched roof underneath which he was kept. And so this particular sculptor, he called ISKCON Mayapur and said, please take your Narsimhadev, he's burning my house. He's ready to go, so please take him. So they brought him to Mayapur very reverentially, and then uh, they were discussing who will worship Narsimhadev, because he's Ugra Narsimha. And Ugra Narsimha deity is, it is said that only a Naishtik Brahmachari can worship that deity. So they were discussing who will do it. And then Pankajanghri Prabhu was telling in one lecture how he was selected, and the Mayapur co-directors asked him to worship the deity. And then he said, no, but I'm so afraid. I mean, his form is very fierce. So then they challenged him, saying that means you're not following Brahmacharya. So again, Prabhu said, okay, if you want me to do it, I will do it. So reluctantly, somehow he agreed to do it, and he had been doing it for so many years. So definitely he is a Naishtik Brahmachari, we know that from his activities. And we see here how his birth and early life took place, born in England, and we know this. And I think there were 5 more siblings, if I recall it correctly. And these two became devotees. So they were searching for spirituality, as in those days we know it was a counterculture. So everyone was going against the set societal norms. And there, during their travel to India, they went to Jagannath Puri, and they were not allowed to go in naturally because they have a foreign body. But then they were searching for spirituality, and they came across Bhagavad Gita. So see how important is book distribution. Devotees of the caliber of Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajanghri Prabhu, they are like Mahabhagavats. So they joined by book distribution. So therefore we don't know whom we come across the street, and maybe 50 years down the line they will become another Pankajanghri Prabhu or Jananivas Prabhu. So they are so glorious. Therefore this service is very, very important. And then Jananivas Prabhu was the first to join, and then Pankajanghri Prabhu came to see him in Mayapur, and he was not happy that he had joined. But then somehow they have a very good companionship. So eventually he also joined. So he was there to just to meet him, but then he was convinced to join. And then 1973 in London, they were initiated. That is where they hail from, and they have been here in Mayapur since the early 1970s. And Prabhupada, there is a quote by Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada says that when these two brothers are here, uh, that means it is very good. In fact, I remember a quotation by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, where he says that when I see these two brothers, then my Mayapur darshan makes sense. So one time he came to Calcutta, he was in Kolkata and he could not make it to Mayapur somehow. But these two brothers were there in Kolkata. He saw them, and the moment he saw them, he said, my Mayapur darshan are complete because I have seen these two brothers. So it is like he is an inspiration for so many things. We see he started the Mayapur Academy, where they train the devotees in Brahminical order. And personally, both of them have delivered numerous seminars on deity worship, and how Prabhupada instructed them to
This
do.
picture is not Janesh, it is not Pankaj, this is Janesh Prabhu.
Yeah, that's all. That even I was thinking it is. And so he used to deliver weekly classes, and Maharaj has a contribution in it because in those days Maharaj was there and he was taking care of the brahmacharis. He was the Maha counselor of all the brahmacharis, and Maharaj was thinking, he was considering that we have so pure devotees. I mean, they are Mahabhagavatas, and devotees don't get to hear from them. Why not? So they should get to hear from them. And then Maharaj actually arranged for their weekly class. That's how their weekly class started in Mayapur. I mean, they would give some classes here, but then Maharaj pressed them to give a regular class, and they would give
They
a
give
class.
Bhagavatam class regularly, English, but no Bengali goes there. But it is Bengali Bhagavad Gita English in the evening.
So by the endeavors of Bhakti Prema Maharaj, their evening Bhagavad Gita class was uh, available for all the devotees. And definitely he is known for his friendly demeanor.
This
in
is
the-
also Janesh Prabhu.
Yeah, this is also Janesh Prabhu. The way they deal with these accounts of Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and how Narsingadev. I remember in one class how Pankajanghri Prabhu was telling that he was worshipping. There was a flood in Mayapur in the year 2000, and all the place was submerged with water. And Janivas Prabhu was there. Sorry, Pankajanghri Prabhu was there, and he was standing in front of Narsingadev offering arati, and then he saw a big cobra with this big hood like this, and he said that I was afraid, but I could see my servitor, my worshipable deity was standing in front of me, but I could not remember him. So all I was doing was praying to him that please let me do my puja. Don't disturb me in this puja. And that's how, see, that is the simplicity of how he would tell how he led his life as a devotee. So we have so many things to learn from him. I mean, in his personal conduct, so many senior devotees, in fact, all the devotees in Mayapur are junior to him. So all the brahmacharis, because these two brothers stayed brahmachari throughout their life, so they would go to Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajanghri Prabhu for guidance, and they would deal with them. And I remember, in fact, one time I went with devotees from Panihati to Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajanghri Prabhu for a class. And when I entered, it was Pankajanghri Prabhu who opened the door. And then he said, okay, so whom do you want for a class? Do you want me or do you want Jananivas Prabhu? I said, we want both. How could I say that I want him and not you? So I said, we want both. And then they gave us a chance, and we were sitting in their living room and they gave the class there. They were like so friendly. And anyone, they're so approachable. Anyone and everyone can approach them. And we know how on 4th of May, Pankajanghri Prabhu departed from Sri Dham. And it was so glorious. He was, in external vision, he was fighting coronavirus. But actually, internally, he was absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord. And I remember one incident. Guru Maharaj was telling in one lecture that when dacoits attacked Mayapur, it was Pankajanghri Prabhu who took the rifle and he shot down so many dacoits. Just imagine, he's such a simple devotee, so humble, so down to earth. I mean, so mother-like. We have never seen him screaming on anyone and everyone, but he is so tough. When they were attacking the temple, he was so tough. He took a rifle and took a gunshot, and he shot down 2-3 dacoits then and there. So that is the nature of a devotee. On one hand, he is like a rose petal. On the other hand, he's just like a thunderbolt. So at times, if required, we should be ready to do that service also. And Srila Prabhupada says, of course, two brothers, Pankajangri and Jananivas, there is no comparison. See, Prabhupada, their spiritual master, is saying this. Now, what other authority do we need? It is our founder Acharya who is saying this. This has been recorded in the Transcendental Diary. And of course, this is a poem by Bhakti Maharaj. Pankajangri, he was a fellow, perceptibly mellow. He arrived with his brother to follow at the beacon call of Mahaprabhu in the land of mist and morning dew. From there on, it was all over. Worldliness gone, personal makeover, a dedication to good deed and thought, attention to all his divine grace brought. He learned, he grew, and he did so glow, teaching others what he did on the subjects of worship and wisdom. in an atmosphere of devotional rhythm, like the Ganges with her endless liquidity. His service was one of constant fluidity. He stood at the feet of Lion Sublime, both shown each day at the regular time. I don't recall him even in a rage. That's because he was a genuine sage. He was an anchor for half a century, without which his bhakti grew, within which his bhakti grew exponentially. A role model, our dear Pankajanghri, powerful at peace wherever he be. His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, if you would like to add anything.
That's fine. If you can give me, I can read one letter by the GBC after his departure.
Yes, Maharaj.
Janeshwar Pankajanghri Prabhu, this is departed 7th May. Pankajanghri Prabhu. Dear devotees, by the GBC EC executives, please accept humble obeisance, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. His Grace Pankajanghri Prabhu, ISKCON's most beloved Nishingadev Pujari, has departed from this world in Siddham Mayapur. Having joined ISKCON in the footsteps of his twin brother, his journey to 1973, the two brothers dedicated their lives to serving Lordship of ISKCON's International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Like what? Pankajanghri Prabhu served not only the Lord but devotees worldwide who would turn to him their time of need, beginning begging him to offer his hearts, prayers at Lord Nishingadev's feet. Every devotee who has visited Mayapur Dham will hold fondly the image of Pankajanghri Prabhu standing up Nishingadev's altar, offering prayers and puja on behalf of the devotees, and in turn offering the Lord's Mahaprasad to the devotees. Not many of us, however, whoever were aware that in the background, Pankajanghri Prabhu was also managing the puja department for many years, ensuring that the service to the Lordship continues efficiently while expanding and deepening exponentially. We are all indebted to Pankajanghri Prabhu for the great inspiration we derive from the beautiful darshan and festivals that can be experienced only in Siddham Mayapur. Pankajanghri Prabhu also graced the devotees with weekly classes of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was a founding board member and inspiration of Mayapur Academy, an international school for Brahmanical training, where he taught the proper mood and method of deity worship to hundreds of students as instructed by Srila Prabhupada. Along with 50 years of steadfast service as a pujari, manager, speaker, and educator, Pankajanghri Prabhu was also a dear brother, uncle, and friend to both the Mayapur community and ISKCON worldwide. Today is a heartbreaking day, especially for the generations of Mayapur Vashis who grew up in the affectionate shelter of such a loving and playful uncle. It is rare indeed to find a personality within the combination of such dedication, humility, lovability, joviality, and kindness. As Srila Prabhupada himself said in 1976, the two brothers already, we joined the worldwide family of Vaishnavas, especially his Ganesh Prabhu and the Mayapur community, in grieving the loss of beloved brother and friend, while simultaneously feeling gratitude for the mercy of Nishingadev, who kindly brought his dear servant home to Siddha Mahaprabhu for a glorious departure, befitting a dedicated devotee like Pankajanghri. I can add another thing. In 1996, Purva Centennial year, one Mataji heard the news that he wants back Pankajanghri with him. So then Mataji begged them, no, don't take him. We need him here. Then Nishant says, okay, then I'll take another. At least I want to take another one. After sometimes the Gaur Govinda Maharaj left this planet. It is not recorded in the book, but somewhat in a class I had this. So that means Nishant there was a plan to take him long back. Okay, his guest Pankajanghri Prabhu ki jai. Is it Radha Prabhu ki? I want to thank Krishna Kirtan Prabhu is sincerely continuing this class. Though I'm unable to attend regularly, but I try my best to attend for my benefit.
Maharaj, thank you so much for running these sessions, because otherwise no one will get to know about all these glorious devotees unless and until they are being glorified like this systematically. So I thank you for
And
holding.
I think it will be our asset also. And we will continue this in Bengali and English, Hindi also. And another good news, from next Tuesday, we are starting Uriya. Prabhupada's English class translated in Uriya every Tuesday, 8 to 9 a.m. with the same link. Will be translated by Amritaji Gautama. I requested him this year. This time, he accepted my request. So we have already made a group, Uriya group. So those who are interested in Uriya language, they can join that group. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada,